Hello, everyone, and welcome back to YouTube podcast. Whatever you're listening to this on, I have been a little bit absent from YouTube and podcast for a little while because I've been slowly building up my anxiety coach business or whatever you want to call it. I've been working one-to-one with clients. I've been doing lots of courses. I've been doing loads. So this has kind of taken a little bit of the slack. I also don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you probably will know, is that I am mid renovation right now. Hence why I'm literally filming this in a bedroom with my dog in the background because the rest of the house is an absolute mess. And if you see my Instagram stories, you'll know what I mean. We are currently building a big extension, everything's getting done. And yeah, you know what? It's fun, it's stressful, it's enjoyable, but that is why I'm here today talking in this bedroom. And this is where you'll see me for the future until the rest of the house is done. But when it is done, it's going to be beautiful. But anyway, let's get into what I am going to be talking about today, which is fear of being trapped. This is something that I actually used to experience so much in my journey, and I've posted about on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, and the videos have blown up because so many of you experience this too. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what that looks like, what my experiences was, and how we can actually overcome that and actually make steps towards overcoming it. Because at the moment, being trapped in situations like hairdressers, restaurants, classrooms, appointments, is literally making you stop doing those things. Maybe it's traveling on a plane, maybe it's getting on a train. There are so many things that you fear about getting trapped that you are now stopping and not doing in your life because of this fear. And that means you are making decisions, can't even talk. You are making decisions through anxiety and not what you actually want for your life. Because if you didn't have a fear of being trapped, you'd probably travel, you'd probably go to appointments, you'd have your eyebrows done, your hair done, you'd go and do whatever you wanted whenever you wanted. But this fear of being trapped is stopping you right now, right? And I get it because I used to have the same thing, like restaurants. I would always feel so overwhelmed in between that point of where the food comes and I haven't paid my bill. I used to like going to places where ultimately you can pay the bill first and you can leave whenever you want. But that is rare in the UK, especially. I used to hate being in appointments like doctors, dentists, even beauty appointments because of how long they might take. And what about if I had a panic attack? What about if I got so anxious and I had to leave? How embarrassing would that be? And that is honestly the main reason why I would feel so trapped, because I would start to get anxious, start to get physical sensations, and then ultimately fear about leaving. I couldn't leave because that's embarrassing. Like, if I have to leave because of my anxiety, what am I going to say? What about if I get a bad belly? What about if I go really dizzy? What about if I have a panic attack? All of these things would go through my mind because there wasn't a space that I could leave. I enjoyed places and situations sorry, you can see my dog in the background there. I didn't mind situations where, on the back roads, right, of country roads in the UK, I can stop the car whenever I want. But on a motorway, when I'm in the middle or there's no hard shoulder, there's no getting off, there's no stopping. And that made me feel trapped, right? It made me feel so overwhelmed. And there were so many different situations, when I was flying, the airport, like that feeling of being stuck in a queue to begin with in the airport. But then even more so, the security, being stuck because I couldn't go back, couldn't leave, right? I couldn't get out of that airport at that point. Once I went through security, I was trapped in that airport. Then on top of that, you've got the queues, you've got the plane. Can't get out of a plane if you want to. And so there was always something that I would fear about being trapped, and it took over my life because there's a lot of situations where you can fear being trapped, and the more you fear it, the more you get anxiety and panic, the more you start to think, I can't handle those situations. Petrol, the fear of putting petrol in my car, having a panic attack and needing to leave, but I can't because I've got to pay. What if my card gets declined and I can't just leave that queue? There's so many things that this would overtake for me. And it was always the physical sensations that would come with that, the panic attack, the anxiety. But even more so than that, it was the embarrassment of, oh my God, this is happening to me. People are going to see this happening to me. And then in come this fear of judgment, fear of embarrassment. I just couldn't let people see. So even though all of this time, I'd go out for restaurants, I wouldn't do it very often, but when I did, and I was kind of forced to because other people, like my friends, my family, wanted to do that, the whole time I was doing it with a smile on my face, but internally, heart was racing, thoughts were going crazy, couldn't see, literally shaking, feeling like I wasn't really there. all of these symptoms happening, but all with a smile on my face, hoping and praying we just get going as soon as possible, right? And so this is why, if you're watching this, you can resonate so much to this, because you are listening and thinking, oh my God, that is me. That is literally me. I don't know what she's doing in the background there. But let me tell you what the real fear is, right? And how we can actually cure this, okay? She's got comfy in the back there. You don't actually fear the situation, right? I know it sounds weird to hear, but first off, let's just talk about this. It is not the plane or the train or the restaurant. It is not the appointment. It is not the doctors. It is not the dentist that you don't like, because you don't fear dentists. You don't fear flying. You don't fear driving, because you drive on the countryside roads, right? But you fear the anxiety and the panic that comes from that. Okay, so it's not the situation that is the problem. It is the panic and anxiety that actually comes up. And you don't fear being stuck. You fear being stuck with the anxiety, with the panic, right? If that starts getting worse, the anxiety and panic, the physical sensations start getting worse, and it starts going even more and more and more, that's what you fear. You don't fear the plane. You don't fear flying. You don't have a fear of flying. You don't have a fear of dentists, doctors, driving. You have a fear of how that anxiety and panic is going to turn out. Is it going to turn out into a huge panic? Are you going to have to get out? Like, are people going to see that? Are you going to go crazy? Are you going to faint? All of these things that come with that physical sensation, right? And the panic. And I'm saying this from experience. I know, and I work with so many people in the same situations or experience the same situations. But the real fear is that anxiety and panic. And you believe, and this is what is running the show right now, you believe that you can't cope, that you can't handle it. You do not trust yourself to handle it, right? So this anxiety and panic comes up in these situations of being trapped. And so if you can't leave that situation, you fear that, losing my voice, you fear that you cannot and will not handle that panic and anxiety. And that is what is fueling this. Your brain has learned that when you leave a situation, when you can easily leave, that is what gives you safety. It might be your home, it might be your car, it might be other people. Your safety is in those things. If I go into a shopping mall and that makes me feel trapped, that's fine, I can leave. I'll always look for the nearest exit. I'll always look for the nearest escape. I don't anymore, but this is what I used to do. If I'm in a restaurant, if I can pay first, cool, because then I've got safety because I can leave, right? If I am going out with friends or I'm traveling somewhere, let me drive, because then if anything happens, I can leave. I've got control, I've got the safety. But when that control and safety is reliant on staying in that situation and panic and anxiety is there, you don't trust yourself to handle it. And that's where you don't have internal safety. Your safety is in reliant on other situations and external people and things. How close your car is, how close you are or further away from home you are. Your safety relies in these external things. And that is a risky game to play, because there are going to be times in your life where you are going to have to go far from home, where you won't be able to drive, right? I'm sure that you're going to try and plan it so that you do all of the time, but that means your life is incredibly controlled. Has to be, because you've got all of these conditions on how you have to live. Can't go on a motorway. I have to make sure I know my route all of the time. I Google everything before I go anywhere. You're constantly thinking about the restaurant that you go to. Where are you going to feel safer? Where can you sit in the restaurant? Where's the nearest toilet? Where's the nearest escape? It just gets exhausting, because your life is completely conditioned by these things. You are not free. Even though you think having freedom and leaving a situation gives you safety, you are not free, because you have to leave in order to get safety. And this, I'm about to tell you what will change the game for you, right? It is literally having safety in here, trusting your ability to handle it. That will change your life. You cannot, well, you absolutely can, by the way. You absolutely can rely on other people, places, your car, escapes, being free, not going to places that trap you, not traveling. You can absolutely do that. But you will do that and you will not be happy, right? You will constantly be reminded of your rules and conditions that your life is lived by, and that will make you extremely unhappy. Because if you were happy, you wouldn't be listening to this right now. You wouldn't be listening for how to actually solve this. You wouldn't be listening to me, and you wouldn't be resonating, right? So you can live like that if you want, but if you actually want to overcome this, you need to start building trust internally and building safety internally. When you trust yourself to handle anxiety and panic and physical sensations, you no longer feel the need to escape. Your safety comes from in here. She's literally, my dog makes me laugh because if I'm talking passionately, she gets the ump. She's like, oh, I just want to sleep, mum. But, right, you literally create this panic and anxiety, keep yourself stuck, right? And this, I want to talk a little bit about this because I think this is so important to know. Your behaviors right now are literally keeping yourself stuck in the cycle. You don't have trust, you don't have self-trust, you don't have internal safety. So you're relying on all these people and things and situations to create safety, right? And every time you do that, you prove to your brain that you can't handle it. Every time that you Google map a situation just to avoid the highway or the motorway, because you don't like being trapped and you don't like traffic, maybe you even search on your phone to see where there's traffic or closed roads or road works or whatever, just so you avoid stopping in it. That is literally telling your brain, oh, I can't handle it. I can't handle anxiety. So I'm going to do the opposite, right? Every time that you leave a situation, run to the escape, run to the toilet, or plan your escape route, you literally tell to your brain, I can't handle anxiety, because if it shows up, I have to have the escape. If someone literally knows they can trust themselves, they can handle anxiety, do you think they're planning the escape route? Nah. They're literally there and they're like, yeah, cool, this feels uncomfortable, but I'm going to carry on anyway. And so you are constantly, like, even just taking medication, rescue remedy, an emergency kit in your handbag in case anxiety and panic shows up, you are literally saying to your brain, I can't handle anxiety, and here's the evidence and here's the proof. So you keep yourself stuck in that anxiety cycle, right? And, you know, even just having safe people, safe, like your car being your safety, you are confirming to your brain that the safety doesn't live in here. It lives in these external things and places. So in order for you to actually overcome this, you need to build self-trust, self-safety, and you need to break the cycle, because every decision and every action that you are doing in these situations is confirming the old story. And we actually need to change the belief system, change how your brain is wired, right? Because at the moment it's keeping you stuck. Now, this is exactly what I do with my one-to-one clients. This is exactly what I do in my courses. I have just or recently created the Self-Trust Reset, which literally starts building the foundation over the next 30 days that you sign up to. You are going to be building self-trust. You are going to be understanding your brain like never before. And you are going to be building self-trust. But let me give you a couple of, I want to talk firstly, before I give you some things that you can go away and actually action today, I want to talk about what happened for me and what happens to my clients when they start building self-trust, right? Because this is not about curing anxiety. This is not about getting rid of anxiety. We don't want that. Because if you do that, you are confirming that anxiety is bad, that it shouldn't be there and that you can't handle it. The best thing to do, which is going to set you up for life, is actually prove to yourself that you can handle it. If your brain knows that you can handle anxiety, it no longer needs to fear it. It can show up, you can move on, you carry on with your day. And eventually your brain learns, well, I don't need to give her anxiety because she can cope. This isn't a scary situation. This isn't dangerous. Even if physical sensations show up, they aren't dangerous anymore. But at the moment, your brain thinks they are. Your brain thinks these situations are dangerous and that safety is only in the external and leaving and the car and the people outside of you, right? So we need to start teaching your brain. And when I did this, right, it wasn't easy. It wasn't comfortable. It was hard freaking work. It was going against everything that my brain was telling me, right? How I describe it is like you literally have to run into the storm and like everything is telling you not to, but it's so freaking worth it because when you do it, it's euphoric, right? So euphoric. But you need to start building trust. And I don't want you to just go and expose yourself to situations and get trapped in a situation and go, right, panic. But I want you to start building trust in small, small ways. Not even in the big moments of feeling trapped and those exposures. Because if you go and expose yourself today to something that has been there for years and feels like a huge danger and gives you major panic attack, you'll panic, and you'll confirm the old story, right? We need to build self-safety in yourself and self-safety, or I can't even talk, self-trust internally before we go and do that. Because if you do it right now, you don't have any trust, you don't have any safety, and so the old pattern just starts again. Build the trust, build the safety, and then start small exposures that show and prove that you can trust yourself, that you can be safe with yourself, right? Now, a couple of things that I want you to actually start with, because these are the most important things when it comes to building self-trust, when it comes to building self-safety, is how you speak to yourself. I know everyone says it. All of the lifestyle gurus and the wellness pages, they all talk about how your relationship with yourself matters. But it does. Why do you think your safe people feel like safe people? It's because they understand you, they respect you, they support you, they look after you. But if you're not doing that to yourself, you cannot expect yourself to be your safe person. So number one, have a little look at your safe people. Why do they make you feel safe? Do they reassure you? Do they understand you? Do they get you out of there? Like, what do they do for you that make you feel safe, right? Even your car and your escape routes, why do they make you feel safe? Is it because they're quiet? Is it because, you can take a minute because you can breathe? And I want you to start doing those things in the moments. Give that to yourself. Speak to yourself kindly, support yourself, look after yourself. This is all how we build self-safety and self-trust, right? And it's in the small ways, and they make a difference, right? When we start building this up, then we can start exposing yourself to situations that used to feel really, really overwhelming and panic attack inducing. And then you can start going into them going, I can look after this. I'm not saying that you will then go into them and you won't have any physical sensations, but the point is, even if you stay 20 seconds more with that physical sensation, you are teaching your brain that you can handle it and that you can trust yourself, that this is okay and this is safe, right? And then over time, you break this pattern. But there is no quick fix for this. There is no quick technique or breathing technique, right? Because that is just confirming that you can't handle it. If you need something to take it away, you confirm to it that you can't handle it. But what we're actually doing here is building the ability to know that you can handle it. Because then in years to come, right? Because I know I'm going off on a tangent, but this is so important. I would always look, in the 15 years of anxiety and panic attacks that I've had, I would always look for a quick technique, the one thing, the yoga, the technique, the breathing, that would just help me in that moment and get rid of it. And that all that done is taught my brain that I can't handle anxiety. And so anxiety for me would get better, then it would get worse, then it would get better, then it would get worse. And that happened for 15 years. But what we are doing here is building a foundation, a really strong foundation of self-safety and self-trust that is going to last you for the rest of your life. You do not have to fear constantly going round in the same cycle. We are building the foundation for you to have the life you've always wanted. Because at the moment you are making decisions through anxiety, based on anxiety, and trying to avoid that feeling as much as possible. You fear the feeling, and I get it. I've been there. But we need to build self-trust. We need to build self-safety. I've given you a couple of things that you can go off now and do that on. Obviously, if you want to do that in more detail, you can join the self-trust reset, or I have my self-trust method, which is the week. So let me just explain those a little bit. I did 2 separate courses. I did a week's course, which is more about education and understanding this on a deeper level. And then I did a 30-day course, which is more about action, how you can actually start consistently actioning the self-trust and building it. So my ideal, if anyone wanted to join it, I would always say join the self-trust week first and then join the 30-day, because you'll learn loads, and then the 30-day you'll action it. Okay. I also work one-to-one with clients. So if you're wanting a more personalized approach, one-to-one, obviously depending on my spaces, I'd only work with a small amount of people at a time, one-to-one. So you can always message me for that. I will put the links below the podcast and the YouTube for the self-trust reset and the self-trust week. And then if you do want to work one-to-one with me, I'll put the link below for that, or you can message me over on social media as well. But I hope the main thing that I want you guys to get from this video is that it is not the place that is the problem. It is the fact that it's the fear of the anxiety and the panic, but it's also the fact that you do not trust yourself to handle anxiety and panic. And what you have to do is actually build self-trust and self-safety, not get your safety from leaving or escaping or from other people or places, right? You need to build it in here, because that will change your whole life. Imagine if you literally no longer feared being trapped, and you knew that you could handle whatever came your way, what would you do today? What would you do tomorrow? How much would your life change? I know it gave me so much freedom. I got to say yes to I don't even know why I get to say yes to so many opportunities now, because anxiety doesn't come into question. I don't think, well, how will I get there? Because I don't want to do this. And will I need to control that aspect? I just say yes. I just go. I'm not saying that I never feel anxious. I'm saying I know I can handle it. And that is the difference. So if you've liked this video today, pop a comment below, give us a like, follow me, because I'm going to be doing more YouTubes, more podcasts I'm not even going to set myself a timeline. I'm just going to do them when I feel. I'm going to talk about what excites me. I'm going to talk about what I'm passionate about. Talking about this lights me up, because I want to help you. I want to help you realize that you do not need to live your life with anxiety. You do not need to let anxiety control you. I hope you've enjoyed today. You can tell I have very much got the energy and the passion for this. But pop a comment below, like the podcast, and honestly, I appreciate it. Message me if you like this video and you want more, but I'll see you in the next one.